Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Come on, Coach. I thought you had better moves than that.
You scared,
Good,
bro.
good. Nick. Hey, well, good morning, Nick. How are
Good
you, buddy?
morning,
All right.
everyone in Kuwait.
Oh, man. You are watching and listening to the
That's right. We are in the house, baby, doing it.
TBSN and YouTube and Twitch and X and Z and Y and Sesame Street and all those different places.
You got it.
We got a jam-packed show tonight.
Packing it in.
We are packing. You know what? Technically, yes. Sort of. We're packing it in. And Nick.
Yes, sir.
Nick, we know that you're hard of hearing. All right, you don't hide that.
Definitely not.
Tom is deaf as a doorknob. Did you hear me say I just checked it and it's going?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's sending me messages on this big board here. It's like,
hey, Tom. Tom's got a little delay.
He does. He's got a delay.
He's got a delay. He's got a computer here and there.
Look,
so,
we got Coach Gene back with us tonight for the third week in our. Coach Gene, you are the first unofficial, always scheduled, on the payroll guy who's come back 3 weeks in a row. We either really like you or there's something really wrong with you for coming back.
Hey, he's
listen,
coming back.
I think it's a little of both, right? I think there's a modicum of might be a little something wrong with me, but then also you like me, you really like me. Like,
Exactly.
What's wrong with that, right? You need me.
We
Say
do.
hello. Say hello to me.
Say hello to my little friend. Yes.
there you go.
We need you. We like you. We love you. Coach Gene is sitting in the entire hour with us tonight. We got Nick the Flick for the first few minutes tonight.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go into these fights. And the bummer about these fights is that there's a few bummers about these fights. I thought that they were gonna be crap.
No, they were great.
Well, I know, but ahead of time I thought they were gonna be crap. Tony, Robin, and Pete Shephard were all scheduled to go and do a mini, I guess they do like a mini Radio Row at some of these big fights.
Really?
And then they were going to cover the fights, but something happened at the last minute, and they ended up not being able to make it. And I told Pete, I'm like, don't worry about it. It's crap card anyway.
No.
Nobody cares.
No,
this was a monster card. Coach Gene, do you follow the fights at all?
I do, and I actually thank you, but I really enjoyed 2 of the 3 fights. One of the fights I was not a fan of, and I actually went back and watched again after I had gotten some better understanding. I think it's just because I don't like the fighter that makes me not like his fights.
Raleigh?
But we'll talk about it more for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get into that. And before we get into this, there's so much. So jam-packed. So, Nick is here. And we know everybody loves Nick, and when Nick's on, the ratings
And I love
go up.
everybody, baby.
But we're going to get Nick out the door real quick tonight. We're going to hit these fights because then we got Pete Shephard. Today is National Autism Day. I don't know if anyone knew this or not, but we need to spend a minute on this. And I got to, Steven, what did I do? So today is National Autism Day. And Steven brought this up because, we'll let Steven talk about this a little bit later. But there's a website called autismspeaks.org. And they are quadrupling any donations made to this site and to autism and to bring awareness to autism. So we'll get into this a little bit more later. I was going to talk a lot about mental health tonight because I know a lot of people have mental health issues, but it's Autism Awareness Month, and specifically today is Autism Awareness Day. So we're going to bring that up again a little bit later on. We got Looch on Ice coming up later. And all right, so look, there were three. Why am I echoing in my own?
Well, I'm gonna
head
let you
here?
know out the gate. I only watched 2 of the fights that I had interest in.
All right, well, you got to go along and pretend.
But I'll
here,
pretend.
all right,
I'll pretend with the
all
other
right,
one. Yeah,
all right.
go ahead, buddy.
All right,
but
so-
let's rock and roll.
All right, so I got the Lara. I could never say this
Lara.
dude's name. Lara. I can never
There
say
you
his
go.
first name. How do you? Earslande. Lara fighting against Zarafa. I know where these.
We are so bad when it comes to certain names.
I
dude.
know. That's why I like Coach Gene. I just call him Coach. You know what I
Coach
mean?
G. Coach G.
I don't know if anybody heard last night. We had the head coach of the FAU baseball team on, and I have a problem calling the head coach of a baseball team coach. He's a manager. So I would not call him coach. I called him Skip. I called him Yo. I called him Coach. Which fight or which fighter? Is it the fighter in the first fight right here, which is Lara?
He's minus 3-7 in this fight. And the man from down. Zurafa is plus 280. If you don't like the money line on either side, if you
Icy has watched the replay, and there's the jab of
But afterwards.
Yeah, that was an impressive one-punch knockout. It was a 2 punches, but that was an impressive 1-2 knockout right there.
The rope broke his fall.
Yeah, it did. It did. His head. It might have helped. His head
That's what
might
I'm
have
saying.
fell off and rolled
That's
into the
what I
first or
mean.
second row.
It helped
Exactly.
from him banging onto the floor and getting knocked out twice.
How does that work? If you're is it like a baseball game where you get to keep the foul ball? If the guy's head gets knocked off, rolls into the first row, you in the
That's
seat,
it.
you get it. Do you get to take that head home?
Yeah, right.
You gotta know. You gotta throw that back.
You
Yeah,
gotta throw it back.
throw it
It's like
back.
Wrigley Field.
Especially if it's the guy that you ain't rooting for.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Well, if you're rooting for him, then you definitely need to throw it back because he probably needs some medical
He
attention.
needs it, but you're not rooting for him. You just kick it.
It was a very impressive victory by Lara, a guy who's been around, who's seen it all.
And has fought the good ones.
And he's still going. I mean, I didn't look up, but he's got to be 37, 38 years old, I would imagine. Lara, Steven, can you find out for me how old he is?
I mean, he's got a substantial amount of fights. I know that sometimes you see these records and they don't mean as much because some of these guys are running up a tally on truck drivers and appliance
Exactly.
mailbox fixers and stuff like that. But Laura has been in there with the who's who. He has fought some of the best in the business.
He beat the
Stood
best.
toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah, he.
Stood toe to toe with him.
You're right. You're
He's
right.
40.
He's 40. Yeah, 40 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Guantanamo, Cuba.
I got to give the points to Tom on that one. He
I
let
didn't
me
even
know.
hear Tom. How
He
Tom gonna
gave
get
me
some
he gave me
points?
the hand
Yo,
signal.
shout out to Chef Tom making us look good.
Exactly.
Over here. We appreciate
All
you,
right.
my guy.
So fight number 2 on this card
Okay.
was your boy, right? This is your boy Ramiro against
no, he's
Pitbull.
not my boy. I told you Raleigh was gonna get worked by Pitbull, and Pitbull put it on him.
Yeah,
Hey,
Pitbull.
by the way, this is the one with the guy that I don't like. I bet you can guess which guy I'm not a fan of.
Raleigh.
Of course.
I was telling a few weeks back, man. He's like, he tries so hard to hype up the fights that to me he just doesn't do the job.
I
well.
feel like if he spent as much time working on his game,
yeah.
like maybe
He
some
don't got
defense,
his game is very weak, right? He's got no
He's got
jab.
no
All
jab,
he does is
no
throw
defense.
hooks. I mean, he
His
got a
counters-
punch. He got a
his
punch.
counters are really like they're really calculated so you can see them coming.
Right.
Like the only way that Raleigh ever really catches you is if you're really just not a good fighter,
Right.
or if you get like sloppy and in a firefight he just hums one off and
Well,
smacks
not
you.
for nothing. If you his last 3 fights, right? He gets knocked out by Tank, right? Then
Yep.
after that, he fights a 40-year-old or 42-year-old guy named Barrasso. And to me, in my opinion, he lost. But they gave the card to Raleigh. He ends up winning the belt. And then you got the Cruz, and he lost to Cruz. So to be honest, he really ain't got no game. I mean, I saw De La Hoya talking. Him and De La Hoya were going back over during face-offs and camp and whatever. And even De La Hoya called it out. He said, Pitbull is gonna eat you up, and you ain't got no game to be fighting at the level that you're at.
I just feel like Raleigh doesn't have to do this. Like he doesn't have to be the antagonist.
Well, I don't think I think he's done after this situation this weekend. I believe that. Well, me reading today, he fell out of the top 10, so he's not in the top 10 anymore. And
well,
like
now he's got to lean into it though. Now,
right? Well, now he's got to
now
dig
like,
and he's got to
his chances
crawl.
of being champion are most
Right.
likely over.
Right.
Unless he wants to do a full rebrand, get back in his bag,
Right.
Work his way back up. But I don't see him. He's never shown that level of work ethic.
No,
so
not at all.
I don't think he's ever going to be that. He's
No.
tough as nails.
No,
nobody
definitely.
can take the type of shots that he takes.
Oh, he took a couple from Pitbull though.
Well, look,
Oh my
I'll show you.
gosh.
Let me bring this up. And
Oh
look,
my
the
God.
official ruling is in from Broad Street South. This is right out of Philly. Philly says you get to keep the head. It's definitely a souvenir, is what they said right there in the chat.
Okay,
So
all right.
if it's coming from Philly, and Philly would do that, they would absolutely keep the head. So let me try.
Look at the tail of the bet from DraftKings. Romero is plus 240. Isak
He was just trying to get him out of there. He was just, clubbing him, and he was hitting him with everything.
Well, they
But
were
that's
going to
when
stop the
chin
fight
is
in the
freshest.
7th. They were going to stop the fight in the 7th, and they let him go one more round. But then it ended
Yeah.
in the 8th, yeah. But they
Probably
were gonna
should have
stop
stopped it in the 7th. I'm not
Yeah.
mad at the ref because it's a championship fight, right?
Right.
But I definitely would have. I just like when referees err on the side of caution.
Right.
This is a blood sport. We know what it is. Like, these people are not going to be the same after some of these wars.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't mind that they err on the side of caution when they do, but I get where he's coming from with, hey, let me get this guy another chance because this is a championship fight.
Right.
And all it takes is one shot.
But he did stop it. He did stop it once the Fury started. In the 8th, he did jump in right away because by at that point Raleigh has already took enough beating. You know what I mean? It was just gonna get worse.
Yeah, Raleigh was probably mad he didn't stop it in the 7th.
Well, from what I read from Raleigh and the little statement he put out, he said that if the ref didn't do it, he was gonna go out. Getting whatever would have happened.
Go out on a shield.
Yeah, that's basically it. He said he was gonna go out like that. So
in
a small way, if you're reading between the lines, there he's letting you know that he was getting a good ass whooping.
Yeah, he should reevaluate whether or not he really wants to box or whether he just wants to try to use boxing.
Did you hear, bro? Did you hear what he said when they asked him? I think he had a little bit of fog going on when they asked him, after the fight was over, how was this or how was that, and he just looked in the camera and he said, "I just want to tell everyone Happy Easter."
Well, that was appropriate. You know what I mean? What else you want him to say?
But that's all he said. He said, Happy Easter. He has risen.
Nick, if you don't have something positive to say, don't say anything at all. That's, you know what I mean? What else?
You don't have anything positive to say? Talk about Jesus.
Exactly. So, look, in the main event, which was supposed to be the return of Keith Thurman. Now, keep in mind, Keith Thurman, I don't know how he's still even getting a title shot.
Yeah.
The last time the dude fought, Manny Pacquiao beat him.
Oh.
Manny Pacquiao's been retired for 3 years.
Right.
And Pacquiao fought a few times after beating Thurman.
And he beat Thurman good, too.
Oh, yeah, he did. He floored him, I think, in the first round of that fight.
Yeah. He gave Thurman a little thumping.
Keith Thurman was
the
most overrated welterweight in the history of welterweights, I think, in my opinion.
And he's another one like Raleigh, dude. He's bad at, trying to talk tough. He's just terrible.
Yeah, just
think at one point in time, people had Keith Thurman on the same level as Errol Spence.
They did.
And as Sean Porter and of
Crawford.
Terrence Crawford. Mm-hmm. Like, at one point in time, people had all 4 of those guys on the same level, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Keith Thurman is not one touch.
Yeah, but he fell out of that little Mount Rushmore right there. He fell out of that pretty quick.
For sure.
Yeah, he's got to be finished, but I'm sure he'll pretend that he's going to fight again. So anyway, Thurman gets hurt, which is to be expected because he's always hurt. And they bring in Fondora.
Yeah.
So Fondora, show of hands, seriously. Who's heard of Fondora before last week?
I didn't.
None of us. And we all follow boxing. And the guy, I think he had a 17-1 record going into this fight, Fondora did. He's from Australia originally, but you're saying he resides here now, right, Nick? Is that what you're saying?
He's born here, bro.
Oh, born here, and then he dipped out to Australia. I'd probably do the same thing if I had the means.
Born
you know what I mean?
West Palm Beach in 1997. He's 21-1.
21-1.
21-1. Well, he's 21 now and 1-1. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing that I'm taking away from this fight. Now I'll put the clips on and we can. Because they said that before the fight even happened.
Yeah, but it was because I had to.
Yeah, but I figured there was no way that this Fondora, because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, but Sue
had
both belts.
I know, but there was no way that they were going to put Sue in a position to lose because his next fight is against Crawford, and now you're going from, I don't know what these guys made, maybe $1 million to making $10 million or $15 million, and that's like, $1 million is life-changing, but $15 million is really life-changing to these guys. And
absolutely.
Fondora now, he's going to fight one more time, and you're probably not going to hear from him again because he's not going to beat Crawford.
His manager said that he'll probably vacate one of his belts. He'll vacate one of those belts. Then he'll have to fight. Then he wants to fight Spence. He says the money fight is Spence, but he wants to do that because he wants to build up his pocketbook.
How's the money fight Spence? The money fight is Crawford.
Yeah, but if he goes in there and Crawford right now and lose against Crawford, then it's over for him.
He's going to lose against Spence, too.
But if he loses against Spence, that means that Sue is going to fight for the vacant belt, and then they can fight for the to unify all the belts. So kind of way you'll set it up.
Yeah, but here's why it doesn't work. That leaves Crawford doing the same thing he's been doing for a decade, sitting around waiting for something to happen. They're not going to let that happen.
He has
with
until
Crawford.
He has until the 25th to negotiate a deal. And if not, then they auction the belt and he vacates that belt.
I think this is the problem when you have so many belts
out there.
And the issue is you have a lot of belts around the waist of people who don't deserve to have a belt. Like, if you've got all of these belts around the waist of people who can't bring in 12 people to an arena, then like, what are we doing? Like, it's a fail on the sport to be able to like actually get stars and people who can fight legitimately to fight on a regular basis. And then you got Crawford out here who I really personally just think Crawford should just start going around and mopping these dudes up. Like, these are not even fights. Like, these guys are not even anywhere near on the class of Crawford. He should just start lining them up every 3 to 4 months.
The problem is right now that I see, man, in all divisions when you have the top leaders don't want to fight each other. They're trying to fight all these up-and-comers or these guys that are middle tier. And they're doing it, they're doing it just, I'll take 5 million here, I'll take 10 million here, I'll take you know what I mean? And they're doing it like that instead of, or like what Canelo's doing. He's like, I want 200 million if you want me to fight Benavidez.
But I'm just saying that's not what Crawford's doing. Yeah. Crawford's out here trying to big game hunt.
He is.
Crawford wants the biggest names.
He wants Canelo.
He's trying to put heads on the wall.
I don't think he could beat Canelo. Just due to weight.
It doesn't matter if he can or can't. He wants to fight, and Canelo does not want that fight.
No,
like, and that's
Canelo doesn't want any fight that's dangerous. But Canelo's going to be in a fight that's dangerous, and we're going to, when we come back from our break, I mean, a week and a half from now, not right now, we're going to get into the Canelo fight because that'll be coming up, and I mean, the game plan is to be there. But Nick the Flick, what are you looking forward to? Your Yankees are 5-0. We really can't get
6-0, bro.
6-0. Did they win today?
That's 162-0.
They're 6-0.
162-0.
Soto is right now. He's the man. He's won 2 games against Houston, which was a big deal because Houston and the Yankees got a bad taste in their mouth.
And look, Houston threw a no-hitter last night. Yankees roll out of town and they throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, bro.
That's what happens when we leave.
But they're playing good ball. Volpe, everybody's doing. Oswald, Cabrera's doing really well. Like everybody's, Judge needs to get into the swing of things. I mean, I know we're 6 games in, but he's not really doing much. Stanton, came through a couple times, but
it's gonna be a fun
pitching's
year.
Holding up a little bit, so you know what I mean. We get Gary Cole back, and we should be all right.
162-0. I'm calling.
162-0. The great Nick the Flick. Everybody loves him. We're rushing him out the door. You don't have to leave. You don't have to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here, all right? Okay. We'll take a quick break. When we
Coach
come
C,
back,
take it easy, kid.
Stephen Luca with his update, and Pete Shephard joining us right after this, all right?
You're listening to the Bleacher Brothers on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Let's twist on it.
Cream on the left, we get out of here. Cream on the right, we stay with those guys.
All right, people, we're on the move.
Let's go, Kevin. Get your spear.
I just feel like she doesn't take me seriously.
I don't say that.
This story is mad good.
Thanks, boo.
Now, back to the Bleacher Brothers on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
You
Can't hear you. What?
I don't think it says Gene Clemons anywhere tonight. So we'll get to Luker with his update more toward the top of the hour. We're joined now. Man, look at this lineup. I got Coach Gene Clemons and Pete Shephard.
What's up? Do you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. I'm actually gonna turn you down a little bit. So
Really?
yes.
Well, that's not uncommon.
Do I think you getting turned down?
Elaine, what's your favorite words to me? Stop talking.
Oh. My wife says, "Shut the f up." I said, all right, no problem, I will. But, man, Pete, thanks for joining us tonight. It's kind of a big night for us. A lot of reasons. Gene being on, Nick being on, you being on. And Pete, you were supposed to be at those fights that we just covered.
Well, and you told me they were going to suck, and I said, you know what? I didn't know anything about the Australian guy who was 6'5", the skinny Ivan Drago. And I said, you know what? I got a feeling that maybe this could be something, because you got to change your style. You're fighting somebody that was, 5'10" to 6'5"? That's got to count for something, right?
Yeah, obviously it did, because he was a mess. I mean, he looked worse than Rocky Balboa against Apollo Creed both times and Drago.
What are you talking about?
Did you see that or not? Did you watch the fight, Pete?
I did see it.
Yeah,
Which fight? The Australian fight? No, I didn't watch it. I'm watching basketball. I wasn't there, so I'm watching basketball. I'm watching the regional finals. So I'm watching a fight from an Australian guy that nobody ever heard of before. Come on.
He's a champion now.
I did read about it. I did see the hype. Now, if I was there, it would have been a different story. I would have prepped. I would have done my research. You know me. I would have been all over it. But I'm looking forward to the Canelo fight next month. You guys were talking about it.
Steven, pull up a picture of, because I can't bring the video back up or else I'm going to have to redo everything, but pull up a picture of these guys, how they looked at the end of this fight, how bloody they were.
I saw it earlier. You had it up there. I was watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm watching Indiana State and Utah in the unbelievable NIT semifinals.
So Coach Gene, Pete's got to have, he claims he's got one TV and he can watch like 37 different games at once on his TV. But this guy is the encyclopedia of everything that's going on right now. If he wasn't a host, I mean, literally like a famous, gigantic Boston icon host across the, he would be the best update guy, because
Southwest Florida now, yeah. But yes, no, I like to be. I mean, I've always been a national guy. You know, in New England, they don't talk a lot of college sports with everything. It's so parochial, like Philadelphia, like Jersey, like New York. It's very parochial. It's all pro sports and everything else. But I grew up around college basketball, and I love college football. So I embrace it all. That's the beauty of being where I work now in Southwest Florida. Is even when I was at ESPN Southwest Florida, is because it's such a diverse audience. You got the Big Ten contingency, your Northeast contingency, your Florida contingency. So I love it. You're not talking about the same crappy minutia all the time that usually has nothing to do with sports. Okay.
Celtics, Red Sox, Celtics.
No, but it's not. No, but it's more like what's not.
I'm just
it's outside the game that gets me sometimes. It gets way too much pub, that nobody really cares about.
I think the only thing that really only ever bothered me about New England fans and people up there was that they made it seem as if they were football fans forever, and like half of them popped up the moment that the Patriots got good. I was there from that time, and half of them didn't exist. And then all of a sudden, Tom Brady showed up and they won a championship, and then everybody was a football fan at that point. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, Coach, you're not wrong. The problem is the people that grew up in that area. I mean, I'm 50. I just turned 57. So, I mean, I take every championship. I never took it for granted, because the struggles and heartbreak that I went through in my lifetime until the Red Sox won in 2004. I mean, you think about it. But getting back to your original point, the fans there from the younger kids from 2000 to 2024, basically, 2022, they don't know anything else except winning. It's like go to a Super Bowl, go to a Stanley Cup, go to an NBA championship, go to a World Series. And you throw in a couple of college hockey championships around New England. There was a parade every single year. Bunch of spoiled brats who never had to go through. I mean, if the worst case scenario was the Eagles beating them in the Super Bowl a few years ago, I mean, please. I mean, the Red Sox, what I went through with them as a kid growing up, please. I was born in 67. I was born the year of the impossible dream. How'd that turn out? Not too good in the end. Lose 4-3. You know, 75, same thing. Fisk home run, you know, heartbreaking game 7. Joe Morgan did a sin. I don't have to talk about 78 with the Yankees and 86 with the Mets. And then, you know, a lot of playoff appearances in between before coming back 3 games to none of the Yankees. So, but I appreciate everything. I take nothing for granted. I embrace the regular season, and I just enjoy it. But there's too many spoiled brats out there in New England right now. You're right, Coach and AJ. They don't know how to experience a loss. It's just championship or bust. Bunch of spoiled brats.
Pete, did you know Lucchino?
Larry, I knew very well. Larry was a great guy. I'm going to talk about him tomorrow. Larry should have never been fired by the Red Sox in 2015. You want to hear a funny story about Larry Lucchino with me?
Yeah.
If I may. So I just went on vacation in July, and whatever particular year it was, and my program director, Jason Bluffs, called me. I'm at Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, at my wife's family's house. Just got there, not even there 20 minutes. And my program director, Jason Bluff, calls me from WEI, and he says, Pete, and we're the flagship station for the Red Sox. And he says, Pete, you know, Larry wants to talk to you. I'm like, what? What do you mean Larry wants to talk to me? He said, yeah, he wants to talk about something that you said. I said, okay, all right. What did I say? So anyway, we get on the phone, and I was like, hi, Larry, how you doing? He's like, Pete, he goes, I really want to talk to you. So I said, okay, Larry, go. He spoke about 5 minutes. It was absolutely, you know, word for word conversation that was not me. And I let him go, and I let him go on. I'm like, Larry, I said, he's like, because it was kind of a rip job on the Red Sox. Not that he cared about that, because he was always good about confrontation. And he was on our shows all the time, all the shows on EEI. He was very good. He didn't care about if you ripped somebody or did this or that, or even him. But he had this conversation with me on the phone, and I'm like, after he was done, he goes, well, what do you have to say about that? I said, Larry, that wasn't me. That was Danny from Quincy, one of our famous callers. I go, I said nothing except disagree with him. He's like, oh. But you know what I'm saying? It was hysterical. But that's the problem. Everybody, it's not just Larry. All these teams that say they don't listen, especially when you're a flagship station for one of the pro teams, they all listen. They all listen. They all lie. They all have it on this. They all have it on the background in their respective offices. But Larry was a terrific gentleman, a great guy, a great general manager, and the Red Sox were stupid to let him go. And he was sorely missed. He's very well respected, and you know, we stole him from the Tigers. We got him with the Red Sox, and then at the end of his career at St. Louis, I mean, it's too bad. He battled cancer 3 times valiantly. I mean, unbelievable. So he's a trooper. He's going to be missed, and he'll be remembered lovingly in the New England area. That's for sure.
Well, let's. And you know, I appreciate you sharing that, because I figured I saw it come down and today.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, Pete's coming on, so we'll let. I figured that you know him because you know everybody. Both of you guys, right before March Madness began, I had each of you on, and then I spoke to each of you off air, and you gave me great tips. And I ain't gonna lie, I made a fortune that first weekend. Guys didn't do me much good last week. I'm just going to put that on the record right now, but I won't hold it against you, all right?
Well, last week about the straight, I gave you Sanford that said just bet that take them right out of the gate. They should have won the game outright. Besides covering, but I didn't. I mean, look, I had Connecticut winning the whole thing. I had Houston and Carolina and Creighton. Okay, but if you're talking against the spread last week, I didn't get to talk to you. I did okay. You know what I mean? You got to go week to week, my man.
You tell me. You told me. I don't know what the hell you told me. You didn't tell me anything last week, and I was.
Connecticut, and just keep betting.
I know I did. I hit with Connecticut last week. I didn't even bet on. I did not have any action on Sunday at all. I was totally consumed with something else. But I had some baseball action, and I was nailing baseball. But
hey, I told you, just for the record, I told you to take Connecticut, and I said the
over. Oh, wait a minute. Neither one of you guys can.
Alabama.
Neither one of you can.
Alabama and North Carolina game.
Neither one of you can take credit for giving UConn as a pick. Everybody and their grandmother has UConn as a pick all the way through this thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you have heavy spreads, you got to be able to cover them. I mean, obviously, my point is I said, hey, yo, Alabama, take the over, right?
You did.
Take the over. I did like North Carolina to win. I thought that Alabama would try to play better defense, like and get in foul trouble. It was perfect in the first half. I believe the total was like 97 points or something close to that in the first half. And then in the second half, North Carolina forgot how to make layups. And you lose games like that, but the over is still good in the game. And and I think that it wasn't my best weekend because things happened that I didn't expect to happen. Nobody can account for Houston's best player and probably the best player in the tournament going down. But when he does, they're probably going to lose because they're not a prolific scoring team. But I think you have to, you know this. I'm preaching to the choir here. You've got to like rest on what your thought process is when you make the bet, not necessarily the things that happen that are out of the control of the people on the court, but what would make sense if they played 10 times. What would most likely happen? And I think if you ran all of those games back, I would probably come out pretty good 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and then you go back to I told you AJ that about Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Now they shouldn't have beat Texas. Texas gave that game away, and I knew Rick Barnes from when he was at Providence College. I mean, he's a terrific coach. There's no question about it. But when he gets in the tournament, I'm surprised he got to the Elite Eight because usually he gets eliminated in the Sweet 16 around there. He always has tremendous talent. Arguably, you could say you make a case for Zach Edey, but I mean, Connect is one. I probably would take him as the best player in the country this year. You have the best player in the country on your team. You can't make it to the Final Four. One of the best players on your team in the country. You can't make it to the Final Four. I told you, Rick Barnes is like Dr. Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. He will find a way to lose. He will find a way to lose. Doesn't take away from being a terrific somebody. I've seen it at Providence. He had 4 number 1 draft picks at Providence that couldn't get out of the first round. He's done it at Texas and Clemson and now at Tennessee. I don't say you fire him or anything like that because he's had terrific players and programs everywhere he's gone, and everywhere he's gone, he cannot get over the hump. It is absolutely unbelievable.
So what are we looking at this weekend? What are each of you seeing happens this weekend? And Pete, I'm going to give you a heads up. I told Robbie last night, he was on the show. Yeah. I told him he should avoid you at all costs right now because especially Vlad, he was on your show. He's like, Vlad.
I told him that.
Vlad won't transfer. No, Robbie's exact words. Vlad won't transfer. He has a dog here. So I brought that up last night.
I gotta school that kid. He's just. I know. He's young. He's a youngin'. He doesn't understand coach speak. He doesn't understand play, and he's in a much more difficult position now because everybody transfer. You couldn't transfer back in the day without sitting out a year, coach. You know that.
Well, Robbie's transferring because he's going up to Michigan this fall. He's going up to Michigan in about 10 days to become our Michigan Wolverines beat writer for the football team with access that...
I did not know that. That's awesome.
We have a partnership. Our attorney came on who put it all together, and he announced it as a partnership with the University of Michigan.
That is outstanding. That's a great get. Good
Congratulations. Job, and that's a great opportunity for a young man like Robbie, too.
It is. And he's hoping that Vlad takes his dog and goes up to Michigan now with Dusty. It was all coincidental. Like Robbie's like, yeah, me and Dusty, we had this all worked out together. I'm sure you did, kid.
Is that Robbie is going to be the new win horse, like following LeBron around back in the day. So now he's going to follow Dusty around all day.
I guess he is.
His lapdog, which is right. He'll get access to everything. It'll be fantastic for you, the show, and everybody else.
Absolutely. For all of us. For all of us with the network. So come on, guys, give it to me because, last week, like I said, I sat Sunday out because I was busy. And
was Easter?
Saturday was, I spent no Easter time on Easter. I was busy with something else. But anyway, nobody gives a shit about what I was busy about. What do we like this week?
Well, go ahead, Coach. You go first.
Well, I mean, I've got to stay strong on the Alabama over because they just haven't proven that they can consistently stop anybody. And I can guarantee you that Connecticut won't miss 10 to 11 point blank layups like North Carolina did, or go up with some really soft shots like 29-year-old Armando Bacot was going up against, those guys inside. So I like the over. I think the line is at 160 right now, 160 and a half most likely.
Yeah.
I like that over. I think that you see a really fast out the gate UConn lead, maybe even 10 points by like the first 8-9 minutes of the game, and then Alabama will go 3 happy, and because they go 3 happy, they'll play the percentages and hit a bunch of those. And when they do, and the UConn defense relaxes because they're up heavy, you'll see that number just start running. But UConn won't be able to take the brakes off because Alabama could run any lead down in the country because they're able to hit bunches of threes at a time. For me, that's my best bet. Obviously, it's tough to go against UConn regardless of the spread right now. And I think that this has worked out perfectly for Purdue because all of these upsets have put teams that are tailor-made to get beat by Purdue in front of Purdue. And so I think Purdue gets it done and marches on to the final.
Well, I like you thinking about, and my good friend Brian Bruno from Naples, where I was playing, where I do my studio, said I sound great, but I look blurry. But that's on me. That's this camera. I mean, what am I going to do? I hardly ever use this. I hardly ever use this computer. Look, I like UConn. I like the over as well, but I like UConn to cover more. I think they win the game by 15 plus points. No one's going to stop them. Absolutely, and. I don't know. The 11 points with NC State, but they're plus 11. That's tough. I think Purdue is going to win, but my God, Jim Valvano's smiling up above, down on that team. There is something special going on there. I don't know what it is. I keep waiting for Purdue to mess up because they've done it in the past, and not just because of Fairleigh Dickinson last year in the 116 matchup, but I don't know. If I had a choice, I'm staying away from the total in that game. I got to say, I would probably take the Wolfpack with the plus 11 there. I think it's 11 points, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I think it's 11 points. Not that Purdue can't win. I was a little disappointed, and it was weird what Zach Edey said the other day. I played it on my show. He seemed really pissed that Rick Barnes never recruited him. And it's like, every top player in the country, there's a lot of, if you take the top 30, 40 top high school players in the country, you're all not going to get recruited by the same coach you want to get recruited by, or, they're going to give you a look, but they can't take everybody. He seemed really pissed that Rick Barnes, for some reason, really overlooked it. I'm like, well, Rick Barnes is probably the only one that overlooked it. If the Power 6 conferences, they probably overlook everybody. I was saying this today. I remember when Calhoun was talking about Ryan Gomes in Providence because they beat him, like 2 out of 3 times or whatever. But he had a Mecca Oka for. They went on to win the championship. He's like, look, I can't recruit everybody. There's some people that even are going to get away from it. So it was weird with Zach Edey that he kind of spazzed out. Then he threw the F-bomb out on TV, and no one believed it. I love that. Here we go. No one ever believes in anybody. The 2 things that get me the most in sports is when nobody believes in us. Doesn't matter if it's college or pro. And then when they start talking about God, the Lord. Where's the Lord? You know what? The Lord never shows up on the losing team. You never hear about the Lord when the team loses. It's only about grace be to God. When the team gets a 30-0 run, you don't hear Illinois going, "Geez, where was God? Where was God in the 30-0 run? He had nothing to do with me." It cracks me up. And I'm a religious guy. I'm saying they bring God in. The only team that God roots for is a team that wins. It's unbelievable.
Well,
you gotta also remember, right? And I apologize, AJ, but you gotta remember, like, nobody puts the microphone in the face of the loser. So they might be thanking God in the loss, but we'll never know it because nobody wants to listen to them, right? No one wants to hear what they have to say. Oh, by the way, you're all of a sudden a handsome-looking man right there.
Oh my God! Yeah, I need a way. I got my wife gave me a handy wipe thingy to do the camera, so it's just whatever.
Hey, I'll say this about the Purdue game, and I think that Purdue has been an efficiency juggernaut for the past 8 years.
Yes,
this is the time where the statistics might actually bear out because they've been on the bad side of that efficiency number so many times in games that matters. that this might be the game. This might be the time. This game and maybe even the championship game, although I doubt it because they're going to end up going against UConn. But they might be able to pull the magic trick.
Well, that not only that magic trip, but you talk about, I got to tell you, and I have to bring it back to the women's game, which I never thought I would ever do. I mean, I like women's college basketball. I always have since way back when Pat Summer was coaching in Calhoun and others, and Louisiana Tech was really good at this time of year because it's fundamental basketball. It's different from the men. All right, there's more 3-point shots now in the women's game than there used to be, but there's no dunks. It's a more fundamentally sound game. And last night, the Iowa LSU game, I was totally ensconced in it. It was unbelievable watching that. And then you talk about Caitlin Clark against Becker's coming up on Friday night. Oh, that is an intriguing matchup to me. I don't care if you're not into women's college. That is, if you're a basketball fan, you have to watch that game. You have to. That is just an intriguing match, as intriguing as it could be with Klingon and Edie in the finals, which is what a lot of people want to see. That's amazing. It's amazing to me.
The problem is that they're on a collision course to get beat by South Carolina in the championship. Like, all of this is fun and games until you reach South Carolina in the championship, and they're going to boat race you most likely, or just beat you, bludgeon you, because neither one of those teams have anybody inside to stop South Carolina from doing whatever they want inside. And that's almost the shame of it all. We have all of these storylines, and none of them are about the team that most likely is about to go undefeated.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with it because Dawn's a great coach, and there's no question that there's a moxie there with them with South Carolina. But I actually picked LSU I thought LSU would beat Iowa last night. I really did. I know Kim Mulkey is Kim, but there's something about her that I like because everybody hates her. So I'm kind of like I kind of like her, and I know what that team has gone through. And I tend to agree with you, Coach. Whatever that line is going to be, it's probably going to be like 2 points, 3 points tops. I will probably take South Carolina. But you cannot take away. Caitlin Clark last night came out on fire. She did not disappoint. She was ridiculous. 9 threes. And what they did, and LSU in the second half, 5 of 25, they just fell apart. Like, I've never seen them play like that before.
Were you surprised that they didn't make a change and move like move a Flcik to Caitlin Clark instead of putting a 5'6" Haley Van Lith on her, who is not necessarily the greatest defender in the first place.
Totally agree.
You got your best defender there, who is long and athletic, and you never put her on a 6-foot Caitlin Clark. It didn't make any sense to me.
I totally agree. You had to do something. First half, you got away. It was every possession, up and down, up and down, 45 at the end of the first half. And I agree with you. But then LSU started, 5 of 25. That was just offensively. But you're right. You had to make a change. And I was surprised at Mulkey that didn't. She's a pretty good tactician. And I don't know if she got caught up in the moment or what, or all the other bullshit was like between the Washington Post and the LA Times article. I don't know if it all came down on her. But I thought for the first time in a long time, I thought she lost a little bit of focus. I agree with you. They had to do something, and she got completely outcoached in the second half. You're right.
When you guys talk,
I thought both of them did. Sorry.
That's all right. Now, when you guys are talking basketball, I'm like Brian Gumble on Real Sports. I got the pad and the pen, and you ever watch Real Sports?
Of course.
And you ever see him with he always serious was writing, and so I know Soledad O'Brien, who's a contributor from Real Sports. So when I met her, the first thing I had to ask this woman once I got to that point, what the hell is he writing on that pad? She says, he just doodles. He draws pictures. Yeah, he doodles. He doodles. Yeah, he doodles.
Don't you doodle during your show? Do you guys not doodle during your show?
Exactly. That's what we do. I told Tom, I said, look, Tom, I'm going to take 20 minutes off tonight with these two, and I'm going to doodle right here on my pad.
You want something gross? There was a guy that I worked with in Boston back in the day. I didn't work with him, but he was on the show after us. This is in the mid to late 90s. And he would pick his nose and put his boogers on a piece of paper, and his producer would have to throw them out at the end of the he would line them up on a piece of paper during the break.
That's tough. That's definitely big shotting somebody, isn't it? That's the definition of it right there.
He didn't even realize it.
That's disgusting.
Of course it is.
We would have had a strongly worded conversation.
All right, Pete, I got one more question for you, and then we're going to let you go because we're going to go to Luker at the break, and we're going to take a break, and we got Looch on Ice. Joel Embiid.
By 14, baby. Let's go.
Joel Embiid is on the court tonight.
I've been watching him.
How nervous does that make you? And who are you afraid of for your Celtics? Because I think the Knicks are the real deal.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Not when it's all said and done. No, I would be more afraid of Joel. So far, Joel Embiid coming back tonight, you're looking at, well, what kind of shape is he going to be in? Because the injury that he had, you're looking at, you can't really run up and down and do wind sprints and stay in basketball shape. But he's played about half the game tonight that I've seen. I've been flipping back and forth and watching both at the same time, as you know I can do on YouTube TV. It's looked pretty good. Last time I saw he had 10 points and 9 rebounds or something like that. And I believe they were, hang on.
They're down by 8 right now. OKC is winning by 8.
Okay, they were up. But he looked okay. He looked better than I thought he would coming back from such a long layoff. I think that match. I think what's going to happen is Milwaukee's going to end up playing Philadelphia in a 2-7. That's going to be a hell of a matchup as he continues to get stronger as we get closer to the postseason. We'll see. The only team that could beat the Celtics in the East is the Celtics, and we've seen it a couple times this year, not a lot. They had a couple of brain farts against Atlanta, blowing the 30-point lead. And there's still occasionally I get mad at Missoula, who went to my high school, by the way, and I love to death, on occasionally not call him timeouts that he should. But overall, he's grown as a coach. They're going to be awfully tough. And they're 9 deep. People don't realize how deep that bench is. They just don't. Little Pritchard, I call him not Little Richard, Little Pritchard, that little white guy, is just unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. He's a little gnat out there that no one can stop. And they're big when they go with Hauser and Cornette. And even Krillin comes in. They're going to be awfully tough unless there's some major injuries. They're just too tough. They're just too tough. They're too deep, and they are well coached, despite what some people might say.
I'm looking forward to New York against Boston because I'll give you a rematch from the last time we bet head to head. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, but that's not the same. That was I agree with you. I lost 2 games to you by a point and 1/2 a point, but I agree. I owe you. I went 0 for 3 with you at Super Bowl week. I agree. I went 0 for 3, and the day we didn't bet, my hockey game that I won, we didn't bet. But yes, I owe you a dinner, sandwiches.
No, you don't owe me anything. I got.
I'm like a Lannister in Game of Thrones. I pay my debts.
I got the belt. I got the championship belt right here. You talk about everybody's got belts. I got my belt right here. So I'm the Super Bowl betting champion.
What does TNA stand for? What does TNA stand for?
No,
never mind. I don't want any.
Yeah,
I don't want us
that's
getting censored again. You already hit the button.
I've had this belt for many years. Won this in my 20s.
Pete, really quick. Are you concerned that Embiid is going to have the residual effect injury that he's had every single year he's been in the league, where he gets hurt, he misses time, he comes back, and then something else gets hurt on him? Or do you think that this might be him? They may have taken extra time to try to shore that up.
I mean, the on the fence answer is, coaches. I don't know. Look, tonight. What I saw, he looked better than I thought he would. But he's probably played less. I got to see the minutes now. I don't have the box score in front of me. He's probably played half the game. I think he will continue to get better and better. Now, could he aggravate that injury? I think that's a concern with every Philadelphia 76er fan, that he could go down again in any second. I'm going to assume that he's not, and he's going to continue to get better and better. And I think the matchup everybody's looking at that people want to see possibly is that 2-7 matchup with Philly and Milwaukee and Antetokounmpo and Embiid. I mean, that would be a lot of fun. There's only one team, and only one team only, as a Celtics fan, and somebody's been around a long time, that if you want to say puts the fear of God in me sometimes, there's only one, and that is the Miami Heat, because they don't give a shit. And there's one team that the word culture is for, because I think the word culture is so overused in sports. Culture matters for the Miami Heat come playoff time with Eric Spoelstra, who's a great coach, and Pat Riley. It matters. So that's the only team that puts the fear of God in me, because it doesn't matter what the talent level is. They play the Celtics balls to the wall all the time. And they beat us more times than not. Close series. But you remember the playing game last year. They lost the first playing game to Atlanta. They had to win 2 games to get in, and then they go all the way to the NBA Finals. So That's the one team. If I had to pick the Knicks, none of them. It's the Miami Heat for me.
Pete Shephard, we can hear you every morning at 7 o'clock from 7 to 10. TBSN, but you're streaming everywhere. So we can find you on X and YouTube and Facebook, and we can follow you at, I had it up there. It's at,
326 on my Facebook page and YouTube and Angel Martinez's page on Broad Street South, and soon to be Riptide Media. We're having a big, I'll be talking about that tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact. So it's all good. But thanks for having me, you guys.
Congratulations, awesome. Pete.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on, Pete. Have a great go get some sleep. You got to work in a few hours, all right?
I got an NIT game to watch. I got Seton Hall to cover my parlay. Come on. What's wrong with you?
It'll be a good game.
Yes. We'll be back in just a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Steven?
Yeah.
Give us a breakdown, buddy. What the hell has been going on while we've been sitting here talking for the past hour?
All right. We have an FAU final.
Oh, yeah. They were playing Miami tonight.
They beat Miami 3-0.
You know why? Because Coach Mack was with us last night. That's why they won.
There you go.
I mean, Manager Mack or Skip Mack. Like, oh, dude, I'm effed. I know I'm calling him Coach. But 8-1, beautiful. This is a good baseball team.
Not 8-1.
What?
It was 3-0.
Oh, 3-0. I looked at the Philly score at the same time you said that. They won. A win's a win. Who cares? Yeah. I didn't bet on it, so I don't care how many they won by. Go ahead. What else we got?
All right. In the NBA, we have the Lakers up 107-82 against the Toronto Raptors in the fourth quarter. 9:22 left to go. If anyone is wondering how I'm getting these scores, go on the BleacherBrothers.com website, and there's a ticker at the top of the page where you can see all the scores of your sports, such as NBA, NHL, MLB, and NFL, and much more soon.
Good plug, Steven. Put an extra $5 in your check. Go ahead.
The Wizards are up 100-95 against the Milwaukee Bucks in the fourth quarter. 8:35 left to go in that game. The Oklahoma City Thunder are up 69-61 against the Philadelphia 76ers in the third quarter. 5:39 left to go. And Miami, the Miami Heat are up 65-49 against the New York Knicks at 9:14 left in that game in the third quarter. Halftime in Minnesota, the Timberwolves are up 54-45 against the Houston Rockets. And we will shift over to MLB. We have a couple finals in MLB. The Milwaukee Brewers beat the Minnesota Twins 3-2.
My Brewers. Did Reese hit a home run?
I can't tell because we don't have
all right. Keep going.
The Kansas City Royals beat the Baltimore Orioles 4-1. Right now in Philadelphia, as the Phillies are up 8-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs.
I don't believe
his first home run right here loaded up on the screen.
Oh, yeah. I'm asleep at the wheel, Steven. I thought that you were in charge here, but it's me. I apologize. All right, let's take a look at Bryce.
To Harper, looking for his first hit. Fly ball left center field. Pretty well hit. Benson's going back. He's a spectator. It's gone! First home run of the year. Bryce Harper gives the Phils the lead. It's 1-0 here in the bottom of the first.
I got Harper in a prop parlay tonight, hitting 12 home runs tonight.
And then we
it's
have
plus 17 million. You think I'm going to hit it?
I don't know. But we got his second home run, which led to his 1,000th run. He has reached the milestone of 1,000 runs. 1,000
runs for Harper. Let's see it here.
And Bryce Harper hooks one out toward right, pretty deep. It is gone with the flare. 1,000 dozen runs scored. It's his second home run of the night.
Baby.
And
Ring
the
the bell.
Phillies lead it 2-1. He hits every milestone with the flare.
That's very Derek Jeter-esque to hit many
Yeah.
milestones with one shot. Go ahead. What else you got, buddy? Keep
And
going.
we have a final in Miami. The Angels beat the
Harper has 3 home runs tonight, according to Joe Q.
Well, we got to find that clip. Once it's up, I'll grab that clip and we get the third one.
I need lots of extra innings tonight so I can hit this parlay this prop bet that I have of 12 home runs. Keep going.
All right, the Angels beat the Marlins 3-1.
How odd.
The Tampa Bay Rays are beating the Texas Rangers right now, top 9. It's a 5-1 game for Tampa. The Mets and Tigers are still waiting for the rain to stop raining in New York.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about the Mets or the Tigers. Go ahead, keep going.
Top 7 in Chicago. The White Sox are up 1-0 against the Atlanta Braves. The Chicago Cubs are up 7-0 against the Rockies. Runners on first for the Rockies in the top of the 5th inning. The Houston Astros are up 1-0 against Toronto. Runners on first in the top of the 5th inning. And our hockey, we have a lot of hockey.
All right, but blow through it quickly, all right?
All right, we
you
got the
can
Buffalo.
hit more later.
Yeah, we'll have the Buffalo Sabres up 3-2 against the Washington Capitals in the third period. 18:23 left to go in that game. The Montreal Canadiens are up 3-2 against the Florida Panthers at the end of the second period. The New Jersey Devils are up 3-1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins in the third period. 13:50 left to go. 1 second left in the second period. The Chicago Blackhawks are up 1-0 against the New York Islanders. The Minnesota Wild are up 2-0 against the Ottawa Senators in the second period. 7:15 left to go in that game. Second period in Nashville, it's scoreless 0-0. Nashville is playing Boston. And our NIT games, as mentioned by Pete, we have Indiana State beating Utah 100-90. That game is a final. And on this day in history, in 1984, Georgetown, led by junior center Patrick Ewing and freshman forward Reggie Williams, beat Houston 84-75 to win the NCAA championship in Seattle. John Thompson, first African-American head coach to lead his team to any NCAA Division I title. And that is your sports update.
Awesome, Steven. Great work, man. Doesn't Steven do a really good job with these updates, Coach? Can you hear me? Yeah. Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. I said, doesn't Steven do a really good job with these updates?
Fantastic job. I love his energy. I love his spice, his he's really into it. He's going. He's so excited. I'm a big fan.
So,
hey, Steven, never change, Steven.
This kid, Gene, all weekend long, all night long. AJ, what can I do? AJ, what can I do? AJ, I pulled 1,700 clips. I need you to put them all up on Twitter or this website. He's just absolutely friggin' dynamite, this kid. I love him. I said, if this ship ever sinks, he'll be the last guy that I throw off.
Hey,
Chef Tom, the first one.
You got dedication. Dedication's always a good thing, right?
Absolutely, positively. So, hey, man, let's pay. We can actually slow the pace down now a little bit because it's quick. With Nick the Flick is always shot out of a cannon, and Pete's a person. He's a big personality. I made a lot of doodles when Pete was giving. When you guys were going, it was perfect, man. I got my artwork done.
I'm glad you got your art project finished.
I do, man. I love having you. I want Brian Gumbel's job. I just figured that out. You sit there and you watch other people report for a while, and then you draw some pictures and you say a couple things. You wipe your glasses off and you put them back on, and you say something intelligent, and then you dip out for another week. I don't know.
And Pete just said that he put on a thing that Bronny James just entered the transfer portal. I think that's an interesting decision. We'll see what happens. What happens with him? I don't know. I feel like if you're going to enter the transfer portal, shouldn't you just go to the league? Like if you're Bronny James, not the rest of the people. Like some people, you enter a transfer portal, it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to enter the transfer portal and you're Bronny James, just go to the league. Someone's going to draft you just because you're LeBron James' son. And now you do the Tim Hardaway Jr. thing. You do the the Kenyon Martin Jr. thing. You go and you learn on the job. You get on the job training while you're getting paid. You're going to get a little bit of looks, and if you can make it happen the way you think you can make it happen, just go and make that transition right now. I don't really understand the bouncing around from school to school, but it's not like he needs the money. So
isn't he guaranteed a spot on the Lakers? I mean, isn't that a given if he goes into the draft?
He's guaranteed a spot somewhere, right? Like he's going to do something. Like there's no NBA team that's not going to take LeBron James Jr., especially when you consider that his gravitas, if you will, is more than even Michael Jordan's sons when they were coming through. Both of his sons played Division I ball, and Jeff Jordan, I'm sorry, not Jeff Jordan, but Marcus Jordan, actually was a legitimate player for Central Florida, and they still didn't get a spot. But they're not Bronny James, and they're not walking around here with several million Instagram followers, and he jumps way higher than any one of those guys. Like imagine Bronny James getting into the dunk contest, instead of a Mac Miller. No offense against Matt McClung, excuse me, not Matt Miller, but instead of Matt McClung, it's a Bronny James. I think that's a different level of gravitas,
But isn't it obvious that whoever he gets drafted, he goes to Portland. LeBron's going to Portland.
I mean,
because LeBron wants to play with his kid, right?
If that's the case, right? If he wants to play with the kid, then he's going to make that happen. I don't think it's going to be him going to Portland, though. I don't think he's going to go to Portland and do it. I think he or whomever the people that are in charge will maneuver some type of way to get Bronny traded from wherever he gets drafted to wherever LeBron is, and that's how it happens. I don't think it'll be LeBron. I don't think it's a LeBron sweepstakes to draft Bronny. I think that's what people have been saying. I think all those people are kind of foolhardy. He's not doing that.
So as a GM, is it a smart move? Let's say you're the Pistons or Charlotte or whoever it's going to be. Say, you know what? Let's get this kid. Let's get this kid when we can, because then we can hold him hostage for basically, because LeBron is going to say, bring my kid in here. And LA have no choice.
Hold him hostage for Austin Reeves or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. The popcorn, the hot dogs, concessions. I have no idea. Some sunshine in a bottle from LA, just anything. Because if LeBron says this is what I want, it's obvious at this point that LeBron's going to get what he wants.
I mean, you might be right. And Joe Quillen just put up that infield left to go to SMU yesterday. I didn't even hear that news. But maybe Bronny follows him to SMU, and that's Bronny's way into the starting lineup and having a chance to really, show what he can do. And I'm sorry I didn't wear the judge's wig today, but I am in Louisiana right now because I am hanging out at spring break at my school. So I'm in Louisiana until tomorrow, and then I'm heading to Vegas for a really big interview with the Giants. With a New York Giants starter that will remain nameless, but I'm going to Vegas, so you probably know who I'm talking about.
Wow, you living the life, man. So are you hitting Bourbon Street? What are you doing? Does it smell like?
So I'm in Gonzales, which is right near Baton Rouge. So
okay,
that's where I would be hitting, downtown Baton Rouge, not Bourbon Street.
Okay, and you're in Louisiana for spring break? Is that you're just taking a little vacation?
Well, I have my best friends. They live out here, and so I get a chance to. It just so happened that their school district and my school district linked up this year, and so it's good because I was able to come hang out, see the kids, hang out with them, have a few oat sodas, all that good stuff, and then I also do some work. Recorded some podcasts. The new Talk Spicy is out this morning or this afternoon. Go and check that out on all your DSPs and any of my social medias at Gene Clemons, by the way. And then move on to Vegas and do these interviews for Giants Country. make sure you go check out any of my stuff. If you're a Giants fan, go check it out at giantscountry.com.
There's the hooker. Now I figured it out. So our guy from FAU, J-Mo, who's just at his pro day, was contacted by the Giants right after the pro day. And now you, being a huge Giant loyalist and very biased reporter of the Giants, because we know how that's how you roll. J-Mo's got it. J-Mo's got it made, man.
Hey, listen, if J-Mo rolls up to, if he gets drafted and or gets an invite to go to New York and try out with the Giants and get a shot with the Giants, I will 100% write a story on him. There will be something from me because I am the person that does all that kind of stuff at Giants Country most times.
That's awesome, and he's a great, a really, really, really good guy. Hey, I want to talk some MLB, just kind of what we saw. But yeah, before we get to that, I know that you like action on games, yep. Right? I mean, is it just basketball? You like football? I'm gonna guess. You ever do any baseball?
No, I like it. I like anything that I know about. I don't play the lottery.
All right. So let me ask you this though.
I do on sports that I can intelligently think about and put a wager down for. I'm not here to just give money away.
So you've never been in like a really good zone where you're just hitting, and you decide to get adventurous?
My adventurous is an 8-pick parlay, like a 10-pick parlay. That's my adventurous. I've had heaters where I just went on and ran it up, and then decided that I was going to start like seeing how, like I was getting so many bets correct that I was like, if I had put this bet together with this bet and this bet, then I would have hit a 10-legger for, $50,000 or something crazy like that. And so then I start trying it. And obviously when I start trying it, I start losing. That's what happens.
Well, I'm going to ask you, would you ever, let's say you're sitting in Baton Rouge and you're bored and you're on the road and you say, it's 2:00 in the morning, you can't sleep.
And you an LV sports shoe on the pedal. I let you settle. Yeah. Trouble on my mind. I got trouble on my mind. Trouble on my mind. So much trouble on my mind. Trouble on my mind. I got trouble on. 不动不要做入众，走路一阵风，感觉和背推，少年不当功。
I mean, that's some action. If you're sitting around in the middle of the night, you can't sleep, and you just got the itch. I mean, the 3-on-3 cage match, and then whatever the hell that was after that.
Yeah, I would watch it 100%. I would watch it with glee. I would not put money on it. Never that. I don't put money on Japanese League Baseball, even though I actually can watch it and figure out who's good and who's not. I don't put money on European League Basketball, even though I have a pretty good idea of who's good and who's not good, but I don't have all of the knowledge. The only thing I get a little bit crazy with in that terms is I will put a bet on subsidiary or lower level soccer leagues.
Okay.
Right? So like I'll do it on the English Championship or the the one under that, I forget the name of it, but like the second and third tier of a league. I'll put stuff on there, but I don't really do the whole crazy, I don't know anything about sports, but maybe sometimes on soccer because I pay attention to international soccer.
Well, I don't know who you use or what you go with, but we've got a lot of friends in the in the book, in the books. I'm really excited about because I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. You ever watch that show, Coach?
I have not.
Okay, it's hysterical. If you ever watched Seinfeld and you enjoyed Seinfeld, this is Seinfeld on steroids because it's the guy who created Seinfeld. And J.B. Smoove is one of the greatest television characters ever. He plays Leon Black on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he's the face or the spokesperson along with the Mannings for Caesars. So Caesars is a new friend of ours. We're going to get ready and try their book out also. But, the fans and the people on the show have spoken because we've downloaded them all, and everybody's really loving Bet365, and the promo's fantastic. So
I'll tell you what the fans should do if they're looking to like really do that thing. Hit Bet365 up, and if you're really dropping some dollars down, put that risk-free $1,000 bet on UConn and the over, like that two-leg parlay. UConn and the over. Get yourself a 2.5 to 1 on your money off that $1,000 free bet, because if you lose, you're right back with your $1,000 again.
I like it. And if Bet365, it's not available in all states, but let's say legal wagering is available in your state, but you can't get Bet365. BetMGM came in a really close second. And all you have to do is go to our website to get our the BleacherBet promos. Just go to our BleacherBet tab right there on the website, and it'll give you all the books that we're friends with, give you all the promos. And for Bet365, wherever you're watching this thing, if it's on YouTube or on Facebook, the link to get our promo is right there in the bio underneath the video. So,
hey, take that free money.
Yeah, it's always take the free money. That's I teach everybody that. I love it when somebody tries to, here's $5. Thanks for cutting my grass. No, I don't need it. Yes, you never turn down money.
Never turn down the free money.
I don't care. You walk the 94-year-old woman across the street that had no legs and she wants to give you money. Take the money, because one day you may run out of money. You never know what's going to happen.
Or because if you take money that you don't really need, guess what you can do with it?
Give it away.
Give it to somebody that really needs it.
Dude, and I'm glad that you said that, and we're going to get to baseball right after this, because today is National Autism Awareness Day. And if you go to autismspeaks.org and you make a donation, they will quadruple your donation all the way up to $100,000. So you want a good cause. We love animals. We love Bonnie Jill and her Hounds for Heroes, but today is National Autism Day. So walk an old lady across the street. If you can't find one to walk across the street, then knock her over, take her purse, run away. She's not going to catch you. And whatever she's got in there, put half of it in Bet365 and then put the other half in the autism right here, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and don't and understand this, because this comes up a lot in education, right? Yes, there's autism, but then there's many other levels of the spectrum, right? Asperger's and not every autistic kid or kid that's on the spectrum is in the same place, but they all are unique, and they all have their gifts, and they all have things they bring to the table, but they need a little help sometimes getting past that hurdle, the same way that everybody else. If you're not winning, you need a little help. You might go to somebody that's an expert to get you that next winning wager. It's the same way that these young men and young women, they might need a little bit of help to get them over the hump. I used to work at this school, and shout out to the Vanguard School in Lake Wales. It's not a promo, but the Vanguard School in Lake Wales is a school for kids with learning differences.
Okay.
And so everybody at the school had some type of learning difference, and many of the students at that school were on the spectrum somewhere. And it was from high functioning to people who had a hard time with communication. So I have seen it. I worked at a school, Keystone Prep. Same thing. They had a lot of different kids who were on the spectrum, and you see that play out, and you see the gifts that they have, how smart they are, how intelligent they are. As soon as they can get past that one little thing that's keeping them from really being out of here with their gifts. And so any chance we get to try to help that, you should definitely do that. So if you have something to donate, pass it on. Donate to Autism Speaks. Again, they are, what is it, tripling?
Quadrupling.
They're quadrupling, excuse me.
That's even better than what 365 is doing.
Way better than 365. So you know what? If you have that 1,000 and you can tend to lose that 1,000, turn that 1,000 into 5,000 by donating to Autism Speaks.
You know what? You hit it right on top of the head, because there's going to be games tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So you'll always be a degenerate, but this is your one day to step up and do something good.
Something good.
And if you go to Autism Speaks, you can educate yourself in autism, because it's got a stigma. It's out there. There's a spectrum. Well, what is the spectrum? What is autism? It's go and educate yourself and learn a little bit about it, because this is Autism Awareness Month, and I like it and I dig it, and it's Autism Awareness Day, so they get a whole month, and then they got to get their own day also. I don't, pick a day or pick a month, but I'm fine I'm fine with this. And after the show tonight, Bleacher Brothers will be stepping in, because that's just what we do. So, man, you're excited about your Yankees.
What's not to be excited about?
We're
6-0 and we're not even healthy.
Yeah,
we're 6-0 and we're not even like the team we're going to be. If the bats can, like, we're 6-0, and like we said, Stanton is right now, okay. Like, we're not getting anything from the captain. You know that's coming. A lot of the big bats don't wake up until the weather gets better. That's just a known fact. Once the weather starts creeping up, the big bats get swinging. So if this is what we're doing right now, as long as we can stay healthy in the pitching, especially in the bullpen, and I say we, I'm sorry, as long as the Yankees can stay healthy with the pitching and the bullpen, because I don't play for the Yankees, I just root for them. If that happens, then 162-0, baby. Let's
when
go.
He says we, he's referring to the Giants, not the Yankees.
I'm referring to nobody.
Yankee fans. Yankee fans.
Teams, nor am I paid by any of these teams.
Volpe. How good can this kid be?
It's going to be so, right. Here's one of the issues that you have. You get the rub because you play in New York and you're going to get run support, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also play in New York, and people could put some ugly numbers up on you. And I think he could be really, really good. But let me just spin it positive. Not only can he be really, really good, but if he's really, really good, he's going to be legendary in New York.
Yeah.
Because the averse to, it's an easy ballpark to hit in, and that's why the Yankees have so many home runs and blah, blah, blah. That means the opponent gets to do the same thing. So when people say, well, I don't think Garrett Cole deserved to win this and that last year, I go, tell me another pitcher who could walk into Yankee Stadium and do that, and I'll show you a person that deserves to win, to win the Cy Young. So, like, what he's doing so far, you got to feel good about it, but, like, legends are not made in the first 6 games of the year. So I need to see it, every time we hit the bump. It looks good right now, though.
Soto, are you surprised that at the quick start and the spark plug? I said this, I don't know if it was last night maybe, that Soto could be to the Yankees what Bryce Harper was to the Phillies. He was a complete, he changed the entire organization when he got there. And this is what the Yankees have been lacking, because they've been very it was Coach Mack who said it last night. They haven't had that personality. Judge is a great captain, but he's not a spotlight, limelight sort of, spark plug. And Soto,
well, the judge is a presence, right?
Yeah.
The judge is a presence. Soto is a character, right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
And so it's like Judge. When you look at Judge and you see him, you're like, oh my gosh, like he is an impressive. It's like looking at Cam Newton in person. You remember seeing Cam Newton at the Super Bowl. Like, you see him in person, it is impressive. That's what that's what Judge is. But when you think about Soto has a vibrant personality, and I think that's the difference. But I'm not surprised, because somebody's got to hit, right? Somebody's got to do this. You can't be perfect with all of these guys. And you know if you mess up with Judge, it's out of there. You know if you mess up with Giancarlo, it's out of there. Somebody's going to get the benefit of that. And right now, that's Soto. And then maybe in another 2 weeks, that might be Judge. And then another 2 weeks, it might be Giancarlo. I think that's how the really good Yankees lineups do it. Everybody doesn't get hot at the same time. You just can't get everybody cold at the same time. And that's why they have so much success.
So what in your opinion, and I realize it's 6 games in. A lot of teams, they're just playing their 4th or their 5th game tonight. So it's very early. A season is not made in the first weekend. But besides health, which the Yankees are never going to have 100% healthy players. It's just that they're not, the team is not put together that way. Aaron Judge is going to get hurt. Giancarlo Stanton is going to be healthy sometimes. But where's the hole besides, look, we need Garrett Cole back. We'd like to get, I don't know. Do you want DJ LeMahieu to come back? I don't, he's been slowing down and slowing down and slowing down. Maybe he becomes Wally Pipp. I don't know, but what are you thinking?
I mean, it's so cliche to say, right? Like, but injuries are going to be the thing. Injuries are going to be the thing. The Yankees have the pockets to overcome injuries? Yes. Have they been a little bit smarter about their spending than they've been in the past? Yes. Are they willing to go, hey, we've had some injuries, we need to throw some money at this to get it right? I don't know that answer. And that's what's going to be the thing. Like, if you want to be in it to win it, you got to be willing to do some of the things that the deep pocket teams are willing to do. And I don't know if the Yankees are willing to do that anymore. So we got to hope for health. We got to hope for relatively good health. And if so, they'll be right in it because they're in it. They're right in it almost every year.
Gene, they've made it
abundantly
clear that they are World Series or bust this year. So I don't see how they could get to the trade deadline and not make a move if they need to make a move. I don't see it.
They better, because if they don't, it's New York. Like, you know what you're dealing with. You know what the fan base expects. Like, this is not a spoiled fan base. This is a fan base that spends and patronizes and makes sure that the Yankees are the most flush team in baseball, or one of the most flush teams in baseball, so that they can spend that money at the trade deadline and get the things necessary to chase championships.
The only aggravation to me at this point is that Trevor Bauer is still out there on the market, and someone like the Yankees. And last night, I like to put people in spots, but not really put them in spots. And Coach Mack last night, who's, the head coach or the manager of FAU's baseball team, I had just mentioned, I mentioned it, but I put him in a way where he did not really have to comment but he not only commented, he elaborated on it, and he's on the same side that we are. And so far, we're the only 3 that I found on this side. I don't know if people are afraid to speak their mind or if people are just have their head in the sand.
Yes. Like, come on. We know what the truth is people are afraid to speak their mind because of the backlash, right? I said on my podcast today, that, I'm a little disappointed that we don't talk about the women's game the same way that we talk about the men's game. And I said that that equality is not in the positive. Equality is in the negative, right? Because everybody can be positive. Like, we're supposed to applaud the women's game for it being great, but we're not supposed to criticize the fact that Kim Mulkey got out-coached with the team that had the better basketball players on it. They didn't have the best basketball player. The best basketball player was in Iowa. Mm-hmm. But if we did a draft of LSU's team versus Iowa's team, and we put them all in a bucket, and we just started drafting, Caitlin Clark's going first, and then 6 LSU players are going, and then an Iowa player is going. And so we need to be able to like criticize a Kim Mulkey, not for some stupid stuff that she said or did off the court that doesn't matter because she's a basketball coach, but for the fact that she's not the tactician that everybody thinks that she is. This same girl that they played last year in the championship carved them up last year. They never made an adjustment. And then she came out and carved them up again this year, and they never made an adjustment. That is on Kim Mulkey and Kim Mulkey alone. But if we don't do that to the women's game, when we would 100% do that to the men's game, is it really equality?
No.
I say no. But the problem is that when you do that, somebody comes out and says, oh, you're misogynistic. Oh, you're sexist, right? That's not the world we live in. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. If I say Caitlin Clark's not a top 5 player all time, and I give legitimate reasoning, the comeback shouldn't be, oh, you're racist against white basketball players. But that's what will be said because that's the type of world we live in now, and people are afraid to say what they really mean because they don't want to lose whatever they think they have that somebody could take from them. You know what I have that I can always hold on to? It doesn't matter who tries to come and take it away. I've always got my word. I've always got my honesty. I've always got my truth. And so if I can say what I say confidently because I know it doesn't come from a place of hate. And if you believe it comes from a place of hate, that's because you're trying to find something to hate, not because it actually exists. And I think that that's what we're seeing with baseball right now. A lot of these teams are just, they don't want to touch them because they don't want to hear the backlash if they touch them, or people don't want to come out and defend them because they don't want to hear the backlash if they defend them. And it's sad that somebody has had their life ruined with hundreds of millions of dollars in play because someone else wanted to say something that was untrue because they were trying to get some money.
And I think that our entire audience that listens to and watches this show needs to start a movement where you're reaching out to Trevor because he's very active on social. And I actually dig a lot of the stuff that he puts out there on social, and let him know who the people are that have been, it was me, the lone voice for a year. And then we met Coach Gene, and now we got Coach Mack. I don't want to drag him in to this, but he spoke himself. And so Trevor needs to be here. And if he's here, believe me, if I set my mind to something, hey, it might be the local softball league, but I'll get him paid. I'll get him paid.
Hey, Trevor, just come on with us. Come on with us. Come sit down on the Bleacher Brothers show. I'm coming in that day. We'll all sit down and talk about it. We're not going to talk about the situation. We're going to talk about why you deserve to be in the major leagues right now and why that team should be the Yankees.
Absolutely. And he did a thing on Brian Gumble, and Brian Gumble sat there doodling. I could doodle the whole time, too, when he's here and you're talking to him. So we got it.
You doodle. I'll convince him and the Yankees that they need to sign him.
That's it. I'll even give him my belt, my TNA belt that I've had since my 20s.
I don't know if we want to give him the TNA belt. It might be too soon.
Well, yeah, you're right. We might be opening up a can of worms.
We don't want those problems.
I retract that statement.
I like it.
Are the balls juiced this year? Because there's been a lot of home runs. Steven pulls the clips of all the home runs for me, and balls have been flying out everywhere. And when you look at these clips, some of these guys they look like they should be pop-ups to second base, and they're going out to straightaway center field. My thought is this, Gene, and I'll let you comment. A week ago, it was Shohei, gambling, $4.5 million, interpreters. You know what shuts that down? A whole shitload of home runs, because everyone loves a home run. I don't know. Am I a conspiracy guy? Maybe I am. But in today's day and world, everything that used to seem like a really cool episode of Jack Bauer in 24 or Jason Bourne, Ultimate whatever, is real life. I'm thinking that baseball's got the balls juice this season. But again, I don't know if you've noticed this, looked at it, or what are your thoughts on my thought? If you say I'm an idiot, I'm cool with that. If people tell me that all day, every day.
I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I just don't think the numbers are like ridiculous. I think that that what we see is what we always see. Some players get hot, they come out the gate crazy, and then they get cold. I don't think the ball's juiced. I think two things. Baseball has now fully embraced analytics in everything they do. So players it's home run or bust, right? The home run is the 3-point ball. It's home run or bust. For pitchers, we have sold our soul to the flamethrowers. Well, what do you get when you have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or a 96-mile-an-hour fastball coming in at somebody swinging for the fences? All it takes is for them to connect, and that ball is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we see in baseball right now. It's everybody's trying to hit a home run or walk, right? It's home run or walk. That's what they're trying to do. Everybody's trying to hit a home run. Everybody's trying to strike you out with a fastball because fastballs get paid. Fastballs get paid. If you're a control pitchers don't get paid the way that fastballers get paid. And so that's what you see. You see a lot of really, really fast balls leaving extremely quick. Look at the exit velocities on some of these home runs.
Well, let me show you this. I'm hearing you. Let me show you this. So here's a clip Steven pulled. I think, is this from last night, Steven? Just shake your head, yes or no? No, this is from tonight? Is this the same guy?
Is that Bryce Harper?
No. Is this the same guy who hit 2 last night? Well, this is Aaron Hicks. Okay. I didn't even know what this was. This was not.
Really struggled third time through the order.
I wouldn't have shown this clip. I thought this was actually Mike Trout. I was going to make a funny, but I ruined it.
As Aaron Hicks puts a charge into this toward the right field corner. It's deep, and that's a fair ball and a home run.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Steven. I just thought, because I saw Miami, I thought it was Trout, and I was going to say, well, look at this guy. Did you see Trout's home runs last night?
I did.
One of them landed in Fort Lauderdale. I mean,
really
that was a shot. Yeah,
he's really
I
good.
know.
That's and he's healthy. Like, he's really good and he's healthy. Like, people don't talk about they talk about him last year like he fell off, like he wasn't hurt the entire year, right? And if you look at his stats, there's some guys right now that would kill for a down year from Mike Trout. There are players right now who could make a career off the down year of Mike Trout.
But do you feel like the biggest downfall, I don't know if it's downfall, but the biggest problem with Mike Trout is that he plays on the left coast, so people on the East Coast just do not appreciate how good he is because we're all asleep when he's doing his thing?
I would say no, because we all appreciate Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, right? He's been marketed a little bit differently, a little bit better than Mike Trout, I think.
I mean, for years they tried to get Mike Trout to be personable. He just doesn't have a personality.
Hey, he's from Jersey. He's from Jersey.
That's not their fault that Mike Trout's not like pushing his own star. They marketed Mike Trout as the best player in the game for at least 6 years straight. Mike Trout this, Mike Trout that, Mike Trout this. Even at times where Mike Trout was not the best player in baseball, they were pushing him like he was going to be the best player in baseball. He doesn't have a personality. That's not their fault. That's not their fault. Now, could they have maybe been more creative on how they, I guess, but also Mike Trout doesn't hit home runs and strike people out. So of course Shohei Ohtani is going to be, a bigger star. I'm just saying, if he was doing this for the Mets, he would still be known as the best player in the game with no personality.
I just feel like I feel, even for me personally, and baseball is, I hear you and I hear Pete spitting out basketball, and it's like a tornado spinning around me. I can do that with baseball. I can't do it with every sport. I don't have the gift. I'm older. My brain doesn't, whatever, fucking 10,000 excuses. I just can't do it. I try. But with Mike Trout, I just feel like not enough people see the dude play because he plays too late at night. And And they just, and you can read about it all day long. And you can watch quick little 20-second clips, but it's not the same as seeing it live and in person.
So you don't think that on the West Coast? I mean, because again, we're talking about someone who is being marketed as a generational talent who has been known as the best player in baseball until recently. Like what else do people need to know about him?
I think there was
What else
doubt.
do they need to appreciate?
I think there was doubt because they don't get to see him. I don't think he was. Look, man, I can tell you that Mike Trout is the greatest player to ever walk the face of the earth. But you're not going to believe that just because I say it. You got to see it with your own eyes. And I think that was the issue with Mike Trout, is that not enough people got to see him with their own eyes.
Even in this world of social media and being able to like the coasts don't even exist anymore, right? We were just in Vegas.
People still got to sleep, though, Coach. They're not like me and you and Pete. Pete stays up 24/7 watching basketball and football and pickleball and all that shit that was on that video I showed. Pete bets on that at 3 a.m.
Yep, but we were in Vegas, right? We were in Vegas for the Super Bowl. You guys were out there running a show in Vegas to East Coast audience. Like, your audience is a primary East Coast audience. You were in Vegas. That's on Mountain Time. Or excuse me, that's West Coast time. That's not even Mountain Time.
Yeah.
That's West Coast time. So you were on West Coast time running a show to people primarily on the East Coast, and somehow it still registered.
Yeah, but here's the difference. All right, and I can tell you this firsthand because I lived in L.A. for 3 years.
Okay.
And living in L.A.,
I've never lived there.
the best part about living on the West Coast, especially on Sundays, is you wake up and football is starting.
Yes.
And if football's over, at least back then, football's over at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you could go out to dinner, you could kick back, you could watch The Sopranos, whatever you wanted to do on Sunday night. You had it. You didn't miss anything. If you live on the West Coast, all the 7 o'clock games that start here, they're 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you get home from work, boom, you immediately put your TV on. What for us is a 10:30 at night game, it's 7:30 there. So you're seeing everything there. That's the difference because you're not sleeping at 4 in the afternoon. You're not sleeping
There's also interleague play now. So Mike Trout routinely comes to the East Coast, right? Routinely has to come and play around the country. Like this is a situation where if he was Mookie Betts, we know who he was. Mookie Betts is leading major leagues in home runs right now.
But Mookie established himself on the East Coast before he went to the West Coast.
He established himself on the East Coast, but he didn't disappear once he went to the West Coast.
No, he didn't.
That's all I'm saying is Mike Trout is from the East Coast.
I know, and he should be in the Phillies. I don't know why he signed a 10-year extension. He could have went over there with Bryce and
Hey, he wanted to be loyal, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and you've never heard anybody say anything about him trying to demand his way out of LA. I'd have went over there in no uncertain terms and told them to get me up out of this this state. If you don't send me over here to Philadelphia or the Mets or the Yankees, like right now, or Boston, I don't care, even Boston, get me out of here. If I'm from New Jersey and I know what that does, and from all we hear about Mike Trout is, hey, he's just a normal guy. He likes hanging out with his buddies from Jersey. He don't do anything crazy. They just kick it low key. All right, cool. But guess what happens when you're not in Jersey? Nobody's paying attention to you because there's nothing to pay attention outside of what you do on the baseball field. And you know, and I know that the stars are not made in the arena. The stars are made for what they do around the arena, like around the actual thing. Like what made Caitlin Clark a household name wasn't the fact that she's lighting up the scoreboard. She's been doing that since she was a freshman. She's been putting up these points since she was a freshman. This ain't something new. The difference is that when she started to show more personality, and then all of a sudden you add in her beating South Carolina last year, which was a juggernaut. Then you add in the rivalry with LSU and the taunting and the going back and forth. That's what elevates the star. She didn't have any of these endorsement deals before that championship game last year. Now she's a millionaire, right? The thing is not just like your play, it's what you do with the play. I could also argue, by the way, that Mike Trout doesn't have as much appeal because he doesn't steal as many bases anymore.
Gene, I could argue with you all night, and I absolutely love it.
You're listening to the Bleacher Brothers on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. We'll get right to
Light
that.
presents. Bud Light presents. Back to the Bleacher Brothers on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Here's what we got to do. We got to bring Steven in. Steven, but here's what I want. All right, you can't give us every score. Give us the 5 most important scores in your opinion of what's just happened. All right, because we're literally going to get hard at it like permanently. Look, we have Gene on for like a half hour. It goes an hour, and we run out of time. Then we have him on for 2 hours, and it's not enough. The good news is this, Gene. We're taking a week and a half off starting tomorrow. When we come back, we're moving up to 6 p.m., and we're going to do 3 hours, 6 to 9. Better for my sleep, better for my health, better for guests, better for having you on. But I got a feeling that Riptide is going to see a lot of, if I have my way, Riptide's going to see a whole lot of Gene, and Gene's going to see a whole lot of Riptide, and a whole bunch of people are going to see it all go down. But Steven, give us 5. Your choice, buddy. This is it. Your choice before the vacation. What do you got? You got to turn your mic on, buddy.
The Sixers are up 106-105 right now.
Oh, Embiid, huh? All right. What else?
Baseball. Final. Phillies beat the Reds 9-4.
All right. What else?
Final in Tampa Bay. The Rangers lose to the Rays 5-2. The Cubs are smacking the Rockies 10-2 right now in the bottom of the 7th.
Okay.
And we're going to go to Arizona for the last one. The Answerbacks, a.k.a. Diamondbacks, are up 1-0 against the Yankees right now. Bottom first, runner on first.
Yeah, so the Answerbacks are a really good bet, in my opinion, tonight, because the Yankees can't win every game. That's why I say that the Answerbacks, and they're a good team, so Yankees have to lose sometimes. It's great to ride a hot team, but you got to realize that every streak has to come to an end, and then it starts again. And look, I apologize to Looch. We never even got Looch on tonight. The hockey will still be there, and when we get back, it'll be getting into playoffs. So, Steven,
Can I do that on this day in history?
Yeah, give us this day in history, and then get the hell out of here, right?
Due to renovations in the Coliseum, the Oakland A's played their season opener in Vegas. So this is not their first time going to Vegas. This is going to be their second trip around. Where they lost to the Toronto Blue Jays 9-6 in front of only 7,296 fans at Cashman Field.
Awesome. Thank you, Steven. Gene, I wanted to, there's so much on the list we didn't get to. I was going to tell you that you're on your way out to Vegas. Today, yeah. We had a whole thing on this, but we can't even squeeze it in now. We got like a minute and a half until we're out. The Trop closed today. And there's this video circulating on Twitter of all the employees coming outside, yelling and screaming and clapping and cheering. And then they lock the doors of the Tropicana behind them. What the hell are these people screaming about? They're out of work. They have no job. I don't know. And they're building a stadium now for a team that's still, it's not a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. Man, I liked having you. I liked having you more. I love you, bro. I absolutely do.
I appreciate you, man. I love you too.
I want you on as much as possible, but like I said, I have a feeling. I know things that I've whispered to you, and I will leave it at that. I appreciate you coming on. Coach Gene, tell everybody where to follow you for now, and then they'll know more soon.
Hey, everywhere you can find me at Gene Clemons. Make sure that you check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Coach Gene Clemons. Again, it's always a pleasure, and anytime you want me, if I can make it happen, we'll make it happen.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good trip to Vegas. We can't wait to see who you're interviewing. We'll check it out. I follow you all the time. I will be in touch. Everyone, have a safe and Final Four weekend and everything until we come back. When we get back on the 15th, 6 p.m., and just stay tuned to our socials, and we'll put our bets and all that out constantly. But programming-wise, I can't give anything away yet. But anybody, thank you.
And that website is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Make sure they go and check that Bleacher Brothers website out. That thing is.
You're listening to Tony Bruno's Sports Network.
Yeah, you ain't. So we're still on the stream. You ain't seen nothing yet on the website. The website is going to go from, I don't know what we are, 30 pages to literally like 3,000 pages overnight in the next, I don't know. It's a lot when you bring a developer in and they have to program all this stuff, and then you're working with outside companies. But there's a lot going on. But man, you absolutely, I was gonna say you rock, but the kids don't say that. You're not the bomb. You're off the chain. I'll ask my 11-year-old what to say.
Just say I'm lit. I'm lit.
You're lit. You're lit. Steven, show him your shirt, Steven. His shirt says, "Stay calm and get lit," or light up with blue. Light up with blue. All right. Well, that's an autism shirt. But all right, I'm gonna stop the stream. Everybody, thanks for watching. Just stay tuned, and we'll let you know where to find us when we come back. But I am signing out from TBS.